AlphaOmegaSin's all-time favorite PlayStation 1 opening intro sequences to various games that I love the living shit out of, and I thought, you know, this is my all-time favorite video game console to date, and I like the idea of doing this video response to the one and only Johnny Millennium, the happy console gamer who, him and Robman had compiled their own list of PlayStation 1 opening intros that they love to hell and back, and two of which I definitely would have included on this list had it not been for the fact that they went and picked them, but great minds think alike, and that was Wild Arms and Lunar, because I love to shout out RPGs, and those ones were fantastic, so I want to make sure that I didn't go and double dip and pick the same exact ones as them. But this list right here are all games that are synonymous with the console and are just overall some big time classics, so I thought, hell, why not go and make this video, because, well, I think it'd be kind of fun, plus anybody else wants to go and talk about theirs, they can do that as well, making videos or comment section, whatever the fuck. Anyway, so let's get on to the very first one. The very first title on my list, one of the quintessential and important pillars within the survival horror genre, one of the games that started off one of the biggest franchises that there is, and that is motherfucking Silent Hill. The first time I got my hands on Silent Hill was an absolutely fantastic experience because I'd never, ever once witnessed a game that had done things the way that Silent Hill did. And the opening intro is a fine example of a game that kind of just throws a curveball at you. You get to see all the characters kind of just being regular-ass people, not witnessing all these unforeseen horrors and all the shit that lies within. You know, you get to see Harry running around with his daughter. You get to go and see Sybil just being a regular-ass person. You know, you get to see Lisa, well, not dead. All that shit, you know, you get to see all these people just living their regular lives. And then when you go and play the game, you get to find out that there's a lot of unsettling things that are occurring, and Silent Hill is pretty goddamn fucked up. I mean, to be fair, you know, the actual cover of it and the back of it are going to tell you just that, but just if you were only shown the opening intro and you had no idea what the hell it was, you'd be like, well, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a drama, maybe it's a whole bunch of different shit, but a really fucked up psychological horror game? No, you wouldn't think that. Add into the fact that you have some of the best music within a horror series. Silent Hill 2 is always going to have my heart whenever it comes to all-time favorite OSTs in the Silent Hill franchise. But the first one, the opening intro sequence music, I fucking love that so damn much. And then as time has progressed, you know, I've had even more fondness for finding out only one dude had put together all of the CG cutscenes. You know, had designed all that stuff from scratch, from the ground up, and had done that all on his own. And it was just like, that's fucking awesome. You know, even better, because a lot of people are already aware of, despite the fact that Silent Hill is a really, really messed up game, you know, and everybody's just like, yeah, it's pretty fucked. But there's also lots of charm and quirky and kookiness, and lots of just weird, goofy stuff that's just random. And you get to see what would be kind of like outtakes, sort of all the people that you saw in the intro, in different cutscenes that they have, you know, scattered throughout the entire game. You get to see them just laughing and having a good time as if they're on set, and I always enjoyed that aspect of it. But as soon as you hit start and you just hit the ground running with the game, you know, it's absolutely fucking amazing. But the opening intro sequence I've watched 1,000 times over, and because of my love and admiration for the game, I'll probably watch 1,000 times again, so Silent Hill obviously gets a spot on this list. Getting demo CDs way back in the day was a big fucking deal, but for Final Fantasy VIII, this was monumental. This was huge. This was a follow-up to one of the biggest games within the series and within the genre of Final Fantasy VII. So everybody was just chomping at the bit, waiting to get their hands on Final Fantasy VIII. And when we did, because, you know, this is a lot of, like, pre-internet shit for most people. Granted, internet was around back then, but you had a lot of poor motherfuckers like me who just didn't have the money to afford that kind of stuff. So leave it up to demo CDs so that we can watch an opening intro sequence and then get to play just a very, very small fragment of the game to get a taste of what we're going to be experiencing in it. But the music, like I talked about with Silent Hill, the music being very important, that in Final Fantasy VIII, the entire orchestra, like all the CG cutscenes are designed around the music. Every time the momentum starts to build, that's whenever, you know, shit starts getting exciting. That's when the action gets really intense, and they do that so fucking well. You know, whenever things are just very calm, you know, you get to see her out in the fucking field and shit, just having a great old time, being all pretty and shit, and then all of a sudden, shit gets really insane, gets real fucking intense. Oh man, fucking machismo, there's gonna be all sorts of fucking testosterone going with... We're gonna have a fucking sword battle! Gunblade comes whirling down from the sky, and you know, it's fucking thunder and lightning and shit going on. You have Squall and Seifer just going at it, fucking cutting each other up, and actually using magic and shit, because, you know, Seifer's a fucking prick like that. But seeing that was so fucking badass. I was blown away because I thought the CG cutscenes in Final Fantasy VII were huge. That shit was mind-blowing. For anybody who had seen them for the first time, that was like the next level for us. And seeing Final Fantasy VIII was, I mean, it's like night and day. You know, everybody was so much more emotive. Everybody looked like an actual person. I mean, like, not just had, you know, a certain art style and it was in CG. No, these look like real-life breathing people. And then they're just going to fucking town doing all this crazy shit. And when you only have a demo of it, you're just like, fuck, I need to see what happens! And they did a badass job of that. I always appreciated it and loved it. And that's something that Squaresoft / Square Enix has become very well known for, is having all these crazy awesome cutscenes that just make you want to get invested in the characters in the world and put a lot more time and effort into it so you can see everything and experience everything. And Final Fantasy VIII is one of the best examples of that, especially for the time that came out, because I mean, 1999, fuck, it's been years, and this still holds up very well. Now, this is one most people kind of forget about it or didn't even know about it. Duke Nukem has always been one of my all-time favorite characters ever. And I know that a lot of people will go and give him a lot of flack just because Duke Nukem Forever, but fuck all that shit. Put that aside and think about everything pre-Duke Nukem Forever. We had stuff like Duke Nukem Time to Kill. This was basically Duke Nukem meets Tomb Raider. You go and mesh those together and you had such a fucking awesome-ass game. You know, I played Duke Nukem 3D on PC, and I played Total Meltdown Duke Nukem 64, but this was the very first one I got to pick up when it was brand new. And when I did, I was so fucking thankful for it. But because of this, the opening intro to it, which I will consider one of the best opening intros ever fucking made, because this kind of lets you experience why Duke Nukem's such a badass. If you watch it, and especially with the music going, which I'm gonna put links to all the intros so you can actually watch them, but I can't actually have the music playing in it, but Stabbing Westward is the thing I hate. That song is actually playing through this. I ended up getting that CD whenever I was really young because I liked it so much. But seeing Duke Nukem roll up on his fucking Harley, going to the bootylicious strip club, fucking titties for days everywhere, as far as the eye can see, as far as your dick can gaze, and graze, I guess. And Duke Nukem's in there, fucking pig cops rolling, and he's like, no. And every single time he turns around, and he's just fucking putting bullets in all of them. It's so fucking cool. Oh man, I was like, that's like one of the most badass things I've ever seen. You know, he busts out the fucking flamethrower, gets in his jetpack, is flying off, explosions everywhere, and he's the video game version of the one-man army 80s action hero like Schwarzenegger and like fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme or Stallone, like all those characters, you know, Bruce Willis, all of them. I love those characters. I love those actors, the characters that they play, and Duke Nukem is a lot like them. You know, he's got the one-liners and shit that, you know, naturally picked up from things such as the Evil Dead series and They Live, which, Roddy Piper, we fucking miss you, man. But Duke Nukem is so fucking cool in that intro, trust me. And if you haven't played the game, download a ROM of it, get it on PSN if it's on there. I don't even fucking know, to be honest. But the game is fun as shit. You should go and definitely check it out, because it's really neat. It's a third-person action-adventure shooter type game starring Duke Nukem, and it's cool as fuck. And the opening intro, god damn, I can't give it enough of, like, fucking approval. Just thumbs up everywhere for it. Speaking of Squaresoft, why don't we go and have back-to-back titles, because let's face it, Squaresoft was batting 100. It didn't matter what the fuck they were putting out, it was always amazing. When it came to RPGs, you know, nobody could fucking touch them. They were literally unstoppable! And especially when they're putting out games like Parasite Eve. Parasite Eve, which is a modern-day RPG, that alone had fucking blown people away, but it was so beautiful. They had talked about it was such a cinematic experience, and they weren't even fucking kidding. You know, this was one part sci-fi, one part horror, one part role-playing, all wrapped up into a game that made everything work. And it was something that nobody had really seen before, and even nowadays, this is still a very unique experience. And I would love to see a return to form for the franchise, but you know, that's going to be all up in the cards for Square Enix, because that third birthday shit doesn't fucking cut it. But onto the opening intro, seeing Aya and Eve over and over again while shit's just going crazy in New York City. I mean, New York City is going to fucking hell in a handbasket. A nicely weaved handbasket, mind you. But just seeing all the crazy fucking turmoil that's going on because there's all these just disgusting, really fucked up monsters. You know, when you could see that little rat transformation for the first time, you're like, God damn, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Our New York City had big ass rats. This shit's kind of ridiculous. This motherfucker shoots like 3 fireballs from its tail. Nah, man, I'm good. You know what? I'm just gonna fucking stay here. I'm good. I don't need to go and visit. No. But seeing it was just, oh my god, the very first time, and again, the music going right along with it made you get a lot more into it, you know, and it's a big time montage of all this crazy shit that's going on. You know, you get to see Aya going and trying to fight you because, you know, she's part of a police force, and then she's got all these powers, she's discovering a whole bunch of stuff about herself, and then there's Eve in transformation, not transformed versions, going out there with all these fucked up monsters, and everything's just going to crap. And there are only 2 characters that they kind of show off in those, but ideally they're fucking perfect people to have in it because, you know, it's like the boss and the fucking main protagonist and shit and just butting heads and stuff. But I love the hell out of this. It was so niche and so different, and like I said, even nowadays you don't see stuff like this. I mean, you don't even see horror and RPG rolled together all that often. And this game had done it in such a unique way, and especially for when it came out, it's one of the reasons why I was basically like, you know, willing to go and bow down at the throne of Squaresoft, as were many of my friends. And this game was just flat out fucking amazing, and the opening intro sequence is legendary. Where would I be without talking about Resident Evil? The intro to this, I'm talking about the live action intro. You know, first, just get to the start screen. You know, you have fucking Chris walking around, pre-punching boulders, Chris, waltzing up and then, blood everywhere. And as a kid, I was like, yeah, and then I got scared shitless as soon as I saw that first zombie. But the opening intro, and keep in mind the intro that I'm going to be showing off in this video here is actually the uncensored video, because that intro, if you have, let's see if I can grab it very quickly here. Here it is, haha. I have Biohazard, which is the Japanese Resident Evil on Sega Saturn. This has the uncensored version. I don't know if the Japanese PlayStation 1 versions do, but originally we were supposed to get it with director's cut. They didn't give that to us, but there is so much cheesy live action gore everywhere. I mean, hokey fucking B-movie acting, but I love that stuff. I do. It actually makes me appreciate and just, it's endearing. It is. I fucking love that stuff. But you know, all the fucking servers are running around and just fucking chomping everybody to pieces. Helicopter goes taking off. No! Don't go! It's like, nah, man, you're fucked. And they're just fucking booking it, and it's funny because you hear everybody shooting at the dogs. Their fucking heads are exploding and shit, and it's really cool. There's blood gushing and stuff. And when you hear Barry shoot his, dude, his is a fucking straight cannon. It's just boom, boom. Like, it's so fucking out of control. It's like, goddamn, Barry, you're so fucking badass. By the way, play Resident Evil Revelations 2. It is fucking awesome. You need to play it. If you're a Resident Evil fan, you owe it to yourself. Everybody's like, I wish I would go back to being good. Resident Evil Revelations 1, 2, and the remake. Boom! There you go. But the intro, it's timeless. It is. I will always, forever in my entire life, appreciate the live-action intro to it. You know, CG cutscenes, they look really good, and I always thought that stuff was real badass, and video game companies were jumping on that bandwagon. But Capcom was like, nah. Let's go and pay these piss-poor actors and actresses next to nothing to go and toss this shit together. Fuck it, why not? And, I mean, it's a fucking horror movie, a miniature horror movie put into the intro to a video game, and I love it until you get to the very end and you get the different endings and shit. But the intro is where it's at, fucking awesome stuff, and for anybody out there that likes horror movies, just crazy, awful voice acting, and just, you know, Resident Evil, this is something you should all know about and appreciate the fuck out of. So, there you have it. I guess I should also include Final Fantasy VII. It doesn't have much of an intro, but it's, you know, the entire showing off of Midgar, and then, like, the train sequence and Cloud hopping off, they're going fucking up enemies. You get to see Aerith, and she's sitting there in the slums with her fucking one-gill flowers and stuff. So, I went to include that with Final Fantasy VIII, but I didn't get the chance to, so I'll do it now! It's an intro that is always going to be near to me, so I want to go include that for hell of it. But there's too fucking many to include on a list like this, so I just want to include those ones right there because they're ones I enjoy living hell out of. So what you should do is talking about what PlayStation 1 opening intro sequence type deals that you enjoy to fuck out of, whether they're action games, RPGs, shooters, whatever the fuck it's going to be. Go and include those favorite ones down in the comment section, or if you want to make a video like I'm kind of doing a video response to Johnny, then you can do that too, because it's PlayStation 1, it's a badass system, and this stuff's just kind of fun to talk about. Plus, this might get people, you know, interested in games they may not have heard of. But if you haven't heard about these games, fucking play them, because they're all really good. So, either way, this is AlphaOmegaSin, as always, nerds, nerdettes, and gamers game the fuck on.